which is incredible feat. 37 hours, if I remember correctly, flight. Now, why is that important? It surprises the enemy. It surprises the American people. It surprises the investor. So the surprise factor, immediately people, it's like the ground starts shaking in an earthquake. You're like, wait, what's going on? Let me just get my bearings. So what do? That uncertainty leads to a quick degree of fear. If you fear, what do? Sell, sell, sell. And so you see algorithms and humans both sell. Now, this happened over the weekend, though. You can't go sell your stocks. You can't sell a lot of these assets because the hours of operations of the traditional exchanges. So naturally, what you get is you get a big sell-off in things like Bitcoin, et cetera. As I predicted over the weekend, is that it will come right back because ultimately it is a shock factor. So you see it go down and then it goes back up. And so what people I think have realized is, hey, everything is good. Everything's going to be fine. Now, of course, they did announce a ceasefire, which is helping the assets recover as well. And we saw stocks go down on Monday. We saw other assets go down. And it provides sovereignty for individuals, companies, financial institutions, and countries. The more uncertainty, the more chaos, the more that we get towards this like fourth turning, the more valuable Bitcoin is going to be. And so to me, that is ultimately what we saw. Is we saw an uneducated emotional response. Bitcoin sells off, comes right back. Everyone chill out. You're fine. If you went to sleep on Friday, you woke up on Monday, you don't even really know what happened, right? And that's the way that it should be. It's just keep a long time horizon. Bitcoin is not supposed to be a speculative tool. Yes, people do speculate with it, but 50 vol asset, institutions can't hold that. They can't see something go up thousands of percent and then drop 90%, right? It's too volatile. Bitcoin also is not that interesting to people if it only goes up 2 or 3% a year, right? So what you need is a higher degree of volatility than you could otherwise get in treasuries or stocks, but you need a low enough volatility where institutions can wrap their head around it. And Bitcoin has now entered into that area. Bitcoin, over the last 5 years, the compound annual growth rate is somewhere around 65%. That's very attractive. The best hedge fund in history, Rentech, that is what they returned. So you now have entered, right? You just think of it, as volatility has fallen or as the compound annual growth rate has fallen, you now are entering a zone where the absolute best hedge fund in history is. So that crossover is pretty important because now it is fathomable to people. They're like, oh, okay, 60%, that's high. Getting quarterly marks. So 4 times a year, they would be updated on what the whole portfolio was worth. So the private companies plus Bitcoin. If we had gone to them and said, hey, we're going to buy Bitcoin in every week, every month, every quarter, we're going to give you these updates on just Bitcoin's price. And sometimes it's going to be up hundreds of percent. Sometimes it's going to be down 50%. They're like, we can't put that in our portfolio. It's too volatile. So the way that we were able to get Bitcoin, you can really not care a lot. And if every once in a while you pull a word out that people are like, don't expect you to have, now they're on their toes. They're like, wait a second, this kid, where did behoove come from? Where did these words come from? Because now they don't know. They can't put you in a box. So I got a whole little bag of tricks.
I am bewildered by this.
Okay. Well,
all right.
The whole idea is that you can put it inside of a structure and you can hide the volatility. Now what's starting to happen though is investors are saying, wait, the volatility is at a level that I actually want my portfolio. I want it to outperform my traditional assets, and I can wrap my head around it. So they understand Bitcoin better. They understand what the volatility is, and they see the trend. We have the benefit of time. The compound annual growth rate is coming down. So you know that, hey, today it's at 60 over the last 5 years. 5 years from now or 10 years from now, maybe it's at 30 or 40, maybe it's at 20, right? Whatever the number is, it's going down, but you want to be able to capitalize that because it still outperforms your regular portfolio. And so I think that is really a well-rounded asset. They want something that has some degree of asymmetry, but also they want a thing that's not going to go down 80%. They want something that is resilient. They want something that now is starting to check all these boxes that Bitcoin brings to the table. They put it in the portfolio and Sharpe ratio goes up. They actually get some non-correlation or lower correlation between their assets in their portfolio, and they still have it's got the value behind it. And so the whole idea, again, is they're important because they're onboarding people to the digital world. It now is an ability for you to move without hours of operations, low cost, anywhere in the world, immediate, etc. So basically the dollar gets more utility, but it doesn't matter because it's just the dollar. So you're opening access, you're improving the usage of the dollar, but ultimately the actual asset itself is just $1.
Wait, and just really quick, why is it different from just sending a digital dollar? If I want to send money to Bulgaria right now, I can do it via like PayPal. Why is that different?
Maybe.
Maybe.
It depends on what the country is. It depends on when you send it. It depends on what the fees are. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there, right? So, for example, let's say that on the weekend they come together. Should we get a little oligopoly? You didn't think I knew that word, right?
I did not think.
But on top of that, maybe they'll create a little consortium. You didn't know I knew I had that word, right?
God.
And so as they create a partnership on Wall Street, maybe what they will do is they will create a stable coin that all the banks will use. And their idea is that they have a network effect. They've got a walled garden. They'll go to their customers and they'll say, use our products. Now, to all the subscribers of the Pomp letter since like 2018, look it up real quick. Pomp letter, and then type corporate central bank, I think is the letter. That's big brain right there to remember what I wrote 7 years ago. What is it? What year?
No, 4 months ago. Hold on a second.
So my whole thing was JP Morgan tried this one time before. They type in a JPM coin. Some say I'm going to build some software. Some people say that I'm going to go and do lending, or maybe I'll do asset management or whatever the thing is, right? But you seed the business with some dollars and then you have a business that you get into. What the Bitcoin treasury companies essentially have said is whether they already are a company or they're starting a new company, I'm going to put Bitcoin on the balance sheet. And then my entire goal is to buy more Bitcoin. Now, what people generally think of as a true Bitcoin treasury company or a pure play Bitcoin treasury company is they essentially are using capital market tools to raise more capital to then go buy more Bitcoin. So for example, if let's say that you put $100 of Bitcoin on the balance sheet of a company and Bitcoin's price goes up, let's say 50%, now you have $150 worth of Bitcoin. Your share price should be increasing. If your share price is increasing, they'll just come together. There will be new ways that people can start to do things that they otherwise weren't doing a decade ago. How that plays out, we'll see. Obviously, given the deal that we announced, there's not a lot that I can say in terms of our specific strategy. People can go look at the public documentation. People can look at the press releases. But I do think that there is something very interesting happening in this space. I can analyze what's already occurring. I've got ideas as to how this will play out. And rather than be like a Monday morning quarterback sitting here critiquing everybody else, come to sleep soon. Another thing you can do, just use the thumbs up.
What?
The thumbs up is the man's greatest friend in a text message with their wives. You know why?
No, I would not endorse
because
this.
It's just enough. It's just enough where you acknowledge it, but it doesn't give any information. And it just upsets her enough where she's probably thinking like, am I going to go off on this guy right now? But it's not so abrasive that she actually can attack you, because it can be interpreted with a lot of different ways. And so if you use the thumbs up,
this is such bad advice.
It's like, I acknowledge you. I was being kind. I was thinking, I could have not responded. I was on a call, but also she knows that you're
like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Support the channel by liking this video, subscribing, and enabling post notifications for more content on crypto and digital assets. Check out our other videos and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your engagement helps with the YouTube algorithm and keeps the content coming. Thanks for your support. Enjoy the video.